Peace and blessings, y'all. Peace and blessings. Thanks for joining me. This is Speaking with Ajani Bakari Talk Show. I'm your host, Ajani Bakari. It's another beautiful Monday night, and we are here to do another great show for you guys as I drop three topics for you, like we do every show. This show's topics are going to be pro-life or pro-choice. Basically, we're going to be discussing abortion, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice. We're going to discuss both sides of the factions and why that's such a prevalent conversation, and basically a political conversation at that. It's something that's used for every political election. So we're going to discuss pro-choice versus pro-life. Also, we're going to discuss why Lori Harvey is for the streets. I think it's about time we get to some relationship talk on my show, and we're going to talk about relationships here, and we're going to talk about why there are just certain women that are just made for the streets. And we're going to define what for the streets means, and we're going to show you why you belong for the streets, if you belong for the streets or not. And then my last topic is, summertime for parents, as school is letting out across the country for summertime and summer break. Parents go through hell around this time of the year. There's a lot of stuff that goes on because there's no school. Kids are at home more. So we're going to discuss, all the things that parents have to deal with during the summer break, and while you have to deal with, your children being at home more, or whether they're going to summer school or summer camp. But still, we're going to discuss the summertime and how it applies to parents. So those are our three topics today. We're going to do pro-choice or pro-life. We're going to do why Lori Harvey's for the streets, and then we're going to discuss summertime for parents. So thanks for joining me. As you know, I go live every Monday night on my YouTube channel. You can subscribe, like, comment, share, hit the ring bell, for notifications, because I will always, come out with new material for you guys, new content, as I'm looking to always bring something new to the podcast world or the social media world. I'm going to be joining my IG account shortly, and also my Facebook account shortly. So, we'll let some folks get in, and we'll get to that shortly. But I do have a topic that I wanted to discuss here also, which is this inflation and gas prices, because gas prices is getting ridiculous. Let me send some notifications out, and then we can get to that gas price talk. All right, so while we're doing that, we're gonna talk about gas prices and this inflation, because it doesn't seem to stop, bro. We are in something. And again, it's this is I don't know what to say about this time of living nowadays. Is really it's really something. It's always something, bro. I don't know if people 100, 200, 300 years ago had to deal with this, but we got gas prices. I went to go put gas the other day, and it finally was over $5 per gallon for regular gas in South Florida. That's a lot, for us. I know some states I've heard has gone as high as $10 a gallon. I can only imagine if somebody has 20-gallon tank, 25-gallon tank. You got one of those big trucks, F-150, whatever it is, a Ram, and you got these, big vehicles, a van of some sort, and you got to put 22, 25 gallons to fill up your tank at $5, $10 a gallon. This is getting ridiculous, man. And supposedly the president and administration has nothing to do with this, but nobody can tell us, well, why are we spending so much money for gas? And if gas is going to cost this much money, that means, I even heard of there's diesel fuel shortages, right? So if trucks are not able to make those deliveries, and supplies are not able to get from here to there, and things of that nature, everything is going to continue to go up as far as the inflation. Everything, like, it's really a bad time in the economy. It's really looking bad. And we talked about it on the show several shows ago about what causes an inflation, and obviously the pandemic, being on an emergency for the last year and a half, 2 years, has really created a economic problem. It is bad because we don't have enough gas now And then you add on that there's a war in Ukraine, so that's also, you know, causing more issues because we're spending more money doing things and we're not, and nothing's coming back from it. So that's, you know, again, that's what causes an inflation. We talked about that. Everything that has gone on in the last 2 years is creating an inflation, and gas prices are ridiculous. And I don't know what to do. You know, I just purchased a new vehicle a few months back. I wanted something small, something that was only like 12, 14 gallons. But, you know, I got an 18-gallon vehicle now, and to fill up the tank costs me over $100. If I want to put more than premium, you know, more than regular, if I want to put premium or even the mid grade, it's ridiculous. So I could just imagine for those who have other type of cars, you know, you have a SUV, you know, or like I said, with work, right? For companies that have, you know, jobs and people that work as far as doing Uber now. If you're an Uber driver, it must be crazy hard to be an Uber driver now with the type of gas prices that are going on. And it's only going to have to, everything's going to have to go up. The price of everything's going to have to go up if gas prices don't find a way to simmer down or go back to something. I mean, we're going to be spending $5 a gallon for the rest of our life. It's going, I mean, all this extra money that people have been making, all of these minimum wage jobs now that's gone up from 10 to 12 or 10 to 50, it doesn't matter no more because everything costs a lot of money. This is something that is scary for society. I mean, I think that we got to do something about this, bro. I don't know how we can figure it out. You know, somebody got to let me know because I don't see how we can continue to go this way because, you know, even the market was down today. Everything was down today. The entire market was down today. Everything is down. I guess right now, if you're somebody who's in the stocks and purchasing stocks, this is the best time to start purchasing because everything is down. Go ahead and start buying now. Get your hands on some things that you wanted to get your hands on. But, you know, with gas prices going the way they're going, we're going to see a boom in electric vehicles. So we're going to see a lot. That's it now, man. You know, we talked about Biden and how he passed the infrastructure bill. And within that infrastructure bill, there are, you know, government grants and funds allocated to build more charging stations for cars, to build more efficient cars when it comes to being electric vehicles. So the future is already set in its ways. And with gas prices going the way they're going, there's no telling. You know, I can tell you right now, in 10 to 15 years from now, we're not going to have all these truck drivers. We talked about this. All these people who drive truck, unless you have an electric vehicle, an electric rig of some sort, you're going to be really out of the market, man. It's going to be hard for you to get gas. I mean, it sounds crazy, right? Because petroleum has always been a big money maker. And the people who've been making money, which was the Rockefeller family and some other wealthy people who've been making money off gas and oil for a long time, still have a lot of money to sit on. And I don't know if they're willing to just give up their cash cow, but, you know, it's looking very dire for the oil industry. There's a lot of stuff in the oil industry that is just difficult for it to run. That's why it costs so much for us to actually get gas. And that's why we're going to continue to pay more prices because it's hard to get oil. It's hard to move oil. It's hard to refine it. It's hard to do everything right now. So now we have to spend more money to get it. It's going to continue to happen that way. I don't see how it's going to stop. But like I said, if you're into the stock market and everything right now, it looks like everything is down. I mean, everything is down today. Everything is down. The stock market hit one of its record lows with everything. So like I said, yeah, if you really want to get into that, you should. But, you know, gas prices are going down. What can we do about that? I don't know. Because, you know, the argument has been, you know, inflation has nothing to do with the government or administration, has nothing to do with gas prices. But we talked about this before. It does. There is certain policies that the government pass that come from certain administrations, and the Biden administration has passed some policies that's created this inflation and help, if anything, help exacerbate it, you know, as it came along. Because like we talked about the pandemic, with everything that's going on with the pandemic, it just made it harder for things to be what it was. It made it harder to get everything back to normal. So inflation was a guarantee under that. So, but let's join some Facebook folks and some IG folks. As y'all can catch me on Facebook and IG. All right, we live officially on my Facebook. And now I'm live on my IG. All right. Peace and love. Blessings to everyone. Thanks for joining me. This is Speaking with Ajani Bakari Talk Show. I'm your host, Ajani Bakari. I go live every Monday night on my YouTube channel. I've just jumped on to my Instagram page, which is speaking underscore with underscore Ajani underscore Bakari. And then I'm also on Facebook as Ajani Bakari. You can catch the show live there if you're not on the YouTube platform. But I suggest going to my YouTube, which is Ajani Bakari on YouTube. You can subscribe, like, follow, share, show some love, comment, let everybody know about the show, get the ring bell going. Tonight's topics, we're gonna discuss. We're gonna have a discussion about. We're gonna have a discussion about pro-choice or pro-life, right? So we're gonna talk about abortion. The big political hot debate about why abortion is always a hot topic, but we're going to discuss it. And we're also going to talk about why Lori Harvey is for the streets. All right. Lori Harvey recently was in a relationship with Michael B. Jordan, but now he is broken up with her, or she's broken up with him, and everybody's making their speculations. But I'm going to give up my chime on this. I want to give up my take on this. But if we go ahead and talk about Lori Harvey, we got to talk about why she's for the streets. And this is what we're going to discuss. And then we're going to also discuss the topic of summertime parents, because summertime is just hit. Kids are out of school. They're about to let every kid out within the next couple of weeks in every state. So now we have all of this going on. So, those are the three topics. So thanks for joining me. We're about to get the show going shortly here. I just finished talking about gas prices and the inflation still going up. So if you get a chance, go to my YouTube channel. Those that are on my IG or my Facebook. Peace and blessings to everybody. What's good, Jazz? I see you there. Sakbase. Give me a second here. Thank you. Excuse me. I'm back. So, yeah. So again, tonight's topics, we're going to discuss some things. I was just on my YouTube talking about gas prices. If anybody's seen it in South Florida, gas prices is officially over $5 now. I've seen some states where it's over $10. I heard in California it's over $10. And as long as gas prices are going to be as high as they are and continue to go up, most likely everything else that we have to purchase as consumers are going to go up, because obviously truck driving and delivery and getting things from place to place takes fuel. Most companies don't have electric vehicles. We might have to talk about electric vehicles again next week. But again, today's topics, we're going to discuss pro-choice and pro-life. We're going to discuss why Lori Harvey is for the streets. And then we're also going to discuss, summertime. It's for parents. I have, two children that are in school, one in high school and one in middle school, and that's it for them. School is officially done. And now I have to deal with children in my house 24/7. So we're going to discuss the things parents go through for summertime, and then we'll get some folks in here and we'll get everybody to chime in and everybody show their love and blessings. Thanks again for joining me as we'll get started shortly. Peace. What's good, Al? Ladies and gentlemen, we got Al and Pals, the show, joining us live. You could also check his show out. He goes live every Tuesday on his YouTube channel. You guys can check out his show. It's called Al and the Pal Show. Great show. He talks sports, talks life, talks lawnmowers and mowing your grass. So peace and blessings to you, brother. Thanks for joining me. You could also join me Sundays. This past show, we didn't have one, but you can join me every Sunday noon on the GOAT James Kingdom talk show, where we talk basketball and obviously LeBron James and his greatness. So you can catch us there. But we're going to get the show started here. As we go, let me just send a couple of notifications since I'm going live. And we're going to discuss pro-choice or pro-life and where I stand on the argument, if there's an argument to be had. Look at that. All right, so. All right. All right, so we're gonna get to the show again. Thanks for joining me. This is Speaking with Ajani Bakari Talk Show. I'm your host, Ajani Bakari. The first topic we're gonna have is pro-choice versus pro-life, or actually, I'm not even gonna say versus pro-choice or pro-life. This is a topic about abortion. This is a topic that I usually don't like to really dabble in because as a man, I don't believe we have an actual say-so in this conversation. Although we should, but in reality we don't, because it's hard to tell a woman what to do with her body. But that would make me pro-life, I guess, or I guess pro-choice. I don't know how that works. But the idea is that if you're pro-choice, that means I guess you feel like me, women have the right to to decide whether or not they want to have a child or not, if they end up conceiving or they end up getting pregnant. And if you're pro-life, you're basically saying, no, you cannot have abortions. You have to go on through it. You have to have the child, and you can't basically kill a child. They basically saying you're killing a child when you're, when you're having an abortion. Now, an abortion is something that's been going on for human history. Women have always found ways to have an abortion. It's nothing new. You can go back into ancient times and read up on different cultures and how they handled pregnancy and how women dealt with pregnancy. More than likely, though, it was something that was not really frowned upon like in today's society, because in today's society, when you have kids, a lot of people say you should be, responsible. You should have your life together. You should do all of these things. But again, we talked about social reform and being responsible for one another as society. No one wants to take responsibility for anybody else. So we can tell people to be responsible, to do all these things for them to be able to enjoy the life that they want to enjoy, but we don't really help other people do that. So if we're going to tell women they have to have kids or they have to have the child because, they ended up getting pregnant on whatever circumstances they ended up getting pregnant for, then as a society, we should also think about, well, should we be able to help that young lady, help that woman be able to do that? Because I always tell folks, it takes a village to raise a child, and it's not easy raising a child. And I would never want somebody to be a single parent, whether you're a single father or a single mother. So obviously it takes the mother and the father to raise the child, but it also takes a community. It takes a group of individuals to raise a child properly. So beyond just the mother and the father, we're going to need brothers and uncles and aunts and sisters and cousins and parents, grandparents, and things of that nature. This is how you have a true society. I mean, we talk about this all the time. And, if you're pro-life, this is what you would have to also be willing to accept. And this is what I think. If you're going to tell somebody they have to have a child, then you have to be willing to help that child. So talking about welfare and government assistance in a negative light shouldn't be your philosophy. You should understand why the government assists people who are single parents, because they need the help, right? We need a society of functioning individuals. If we're gonna have that, then we got to do the right things by helping people. I mean, I don't see why I would sound crazy by saying this, but I already know I sound crazy by saying this, because most people are individualistic and think that you put yourself in your own predicament. That's on you. It ain't on me to help you. But that's fine then. So if that's the case, then you should let them have their choice. If a woman decides she doesn't want to have her baby because, one, she isn't capable of providing for that child, she doesn't have the right avenues or the right ways of doing what is necessary to be a mother for that child, whatever circumstances she got pregnant, she should be able to go and, make sure she wants to do that. Some women don't want to have a baby, and sometimes things happen, and now she wants to get an abortion. Again, as a man, I can't say nothing. The only thing I can do is be a father to the children that I have. And that's what I've always been proud of as a man, is that I'm a father. So if I have a child with my wife and we are deciding to have children, I'm going to have children. But as my wife, I always know that she has the choice over her own body. She can choose to not have my child if she doesn't want to. Again, I guess that makes me pro-choice. But I don't believe in abortions. You see what I'm saying? Which is fine. I find my conundrum in this argument, because I don't believe in abortions. I believe you should have a child. I believe a child is a blessing. I believe the actual process of conceiving a child is not a common occurrence, even though I guess it's common because there's 7 billion people on Earth and everybody got here from fucking, but not every time you have sex does a baby, come out of that. So I believe there's a special occurrence that takes place when a baby's conceived, when a woman gets pregnant. So I believe a baby is a beautiful thing, but that's my philosophy, that's my ideology. But I'm not capable of helping every woman that's a mother and has her own child. But that's why I say it's a difficult conversation, but it comes up every election. It comes up every election year, every election time. You get the abortion, pro-abortion versus pro-life versus pro-choice. But I don't know what people's takes is on this. But as a man, it's hard for me to tell a woman what she can or cannot do with her body at all. Like that's just my take on it in general. I believe that yes, you should not have an abortion, but I believe a woman has a right to decide what she wants to do with her body. So that's where I fall at in the conundrum in this. But as a man, if you are a man and you're out here having sex unprotectedly and you're out here busting nuts and women, we talked about this, and she ends up having your child, it's your responsibility. You must take responsibility for your actions and responsibility for your seed. That's your seed. It came from you. You should be more than happy to nurture that child, provide for that child, help that child grow and prosper and bring that child into the best world that it could ever have that maybe you never had, So, that's the things I see about it when it comes from a man's perspective. But most people, I don't think too many men think like me. I don't know how many men think about this in that way. But, you have to have that ideology at the end of the day that it is a woman's choice to do what she needs to do for herself. We don't understand everybody's circumstances or predicament, and it's not up to them to always tell us about their life. We, like I said, we have to find a way to do better as a society. We talked about it last week. Social reform is my idea. I don't know how we make social reform happen, but I do believe that there's got to be a better way for us to get along and to do right and take responsibility and accountability for what's going on in this world. So, if we have a bunch of, especially like in the Black community, right? Because the number one topic in relationships is single motherhood, right? They love to talk about how these single mothers are devaluing themselves by having children without, locking down a husband first. And we're going to talk about this while Lori Harvey's for the streets in a few minutes here. But, we still have to remember that a child is a responsibility of the community. We can't just leave it up to that woman alone or that man alone, because there are men out here who are raising children without the women. And you need the help of the community to raise a child. So we have to take responsibility for that. At the end of the day, I say a woman has the right to decide what she wants to do with her body. She really does. And we can judge her for it. We can critique her for it. She can go through certain obstacles because of choices. We all know that, right? You make a choice. There's consequences with every choice that we make. But again, I don't think an abortion is a simple choice. I don't think most women make an abortion and just forget about it. But abortion is a definitely a high issue in our community. I believe abortion is the number one killer of Black people if you count everything as far as what kills us. We have a lot of abortions in the Black community. Please read the comments. Yes, peace was good, yo. All right. Jay says I am pro-choice. I'm also against fuck them kids. I mean, it's hard having children, man. Children is not an easy thing, man. I told I'm a parent. We're gonna talk about summertime, and a lot of parents go through a lot of trouble dealing with their kids, man, and what their kids go through. Trust me, I know what you're talking about. Peace. Let me see what you're talking about, Jazz. Finally on time. Yes. Read your comments. Peace. What's good there, Lou, baby? Love you. So yeah, the idea is that pro-choice says I'm a woman, this is my body, this is my life, this is my decision. No one can keep me from this decision. If I made a mistake, I made a mistake, but I'm gonna correct it by this action. Pro-life says, hey, listen, you don't get that choice. You are a woman, you have a baby in your stomach, and that baby has a right to live. That baby has a right to see the world as is. But like I said, if you're on either side of the board, you must understand where you stand and how it applies to your life and how it affects your life. It's not just a choice of, it doesn't affect you. It affects you as an individual, because like I said, as this society goes on, you have to understand that You know, we talked about that before last week when we talked about how the relatives of these crazy psycho people that go in the street and killing people are not actually involved in their children's lives or their relatives' lives. So we have to be more into one another and loving one another. Oh, we're not going to have a great world, a great society. Trust me, it's only going to continue to go downhill from here. Women's bodies, women's decisions, point blank. That's the point of being pro-choice. So I, again, I can't tell a woman, what she can do with her body. That's just facts. That's just, as a man, you just can't say that. Now, how women discuss this, I don't know. I got a couple of women coming on here. Delu says pro-choice. Peace was good, Facebook. Ingrid, I see you there. Peace to everybody there on my Facebook account. Again, we're talking pro-choice and pro-life. I'm on the pro-choice side. Like I said, I got to give women their rights to choose what they want to have for themselves. I can't make that decision for them. The only decision that falls on me as a man, like I said, if I'm the one who got you pregnant, whether I'm going to be with you or not, my responsibility is to be a father to my child. And I don't think nobody can stop me from being a father to my child. But then people ask, well, what do you do? Right? Let's just say that the man doesn't want to be a father to the child, and she still decides to have that baby. And she being irresponsible by doing that. I don't know. I still say, hey, listen, on that point, this is where we got to hold men accountable. But you still got to be held accountable, my man. It's because you cannot control whether or not she's going to have that child. You should have thought about that before you unloaded your whole self in her. And now you're dealing with a choice that you really can't even, dictate on your own. You have to just accept as it is. So I say, again, it's still pro-choice. I'm still a pro-choice brother. Yep, a woman's body, women's decision, period. I agree with that. And the funny thing is that the people who are pro-life seem to think the opposite when it came to the pandemic and getting the vaccination, right? Because at that point, we were told you don't have a choice. You can't choose whether it's your body or not. So, well, no, I think it was the pro-choice people. Yeah, it was the pro-choice people. Yeah, because that's the Democrats. The Democrats believe in abortion. And the Republicans or the conservatives are the ones who don't believe in abortion. So the Democrats wanted people to do whatever science told them to do with their bodies. But, now when it comes to women, am I saying this right? I don't think I'm saying this right. I think I'm off. But either way, you have to be on point. Okay. You have to be on point. If you're pro-choice, you have to accept what happens. You have to tell somebody, hey, this is their life. They're allowed to do what they're supposed to do. You have to accept it as is. And if you're pro-life, you have to say to yourself, well, listen, if this person's going to have this child, you're going to have welfare. You're going to have government assistance. You're going to have programs to assist single parents, single mothers in particular, because we need that to keep our society even keel. Child support, all of these things, alimony, all of these things are going to be necessary in a society like this. Because, again, we have yet to correct the real issues that we have. So, if everybody wants to say pro-choice or pro-life, just know where you stand and how it affects your life as well. Men are the ones walking around with a loaded gun. They're the ones who need self-control. Yes, baby, men are the ones with the loaded guns. We do produce millions of sperm on a daily basis, and we are the ones walking around with the live action cock round ready to go. But still, you know what I'm saying? Women have their choice. So, it's always going to be a debate because some states are pro life and some states are pro choice. So depending on what state is, I don't know, maybe I think the government just recently signed a bill that was revoked by the Senate somehow. Should have did my research on that a little bit more. Ooh. But we're going to move on to the next topic, though. We're going to move on to the next topic because we're talking about, women and choice, right? We're going to talk about Lori Harvey and why she is for the streets. Yeah, this is a good topic. All right, so Lori Harvey used to date Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is the famous actor from The Wire, Black Panther, played in Creed, big time actor, sexiest man alive a few years ago, all of this. And they started dating and they were dating for a while and now they're supposedly have broken up. And the rumors is that, Lori Harvey is not ready for commitment. All right. So now the social media world went on fire. I can only imagine, God rest his soul, what Kevin Samuels would have had to say about this. But I want to dabble into this conversation because this is a perfect example of why certain women are for the streets. Now I know the for the streets comment is a negative, derogatory comment towards women, but I'm going to explain a little bit better. Maybe it might be something that's not as negative as some people would think. Because at the end of the day, Lori Harvey, I don't know who she is. I've never heard this woman speak. I don't know what she does for a living. Supposedly she's a model, but I've never seen her in any magazine or anything at all other than entertainment gossip stuff. But she's Steve Harvey's daughter. She's a beautiful woman, and she's dated several people in the industry. She's dated Puffy's son and Puffy. She's dated Future. She's dated Michael B. Jordan. And now supposedly she's being seen or with, quote unquote, with Jack Harlow, another rapper, after just breaking up with Michael B. Jordan. But the idea of Lori Harvey of being this beautiful woman, bad woman, successful woman, got her shit together like most women say, deserves a high value man. Now here comes Michael B. Jordan, right? The most highest value man at that time because he's the sexiest man alive, quoted in Hollywood. He's making good money. He's a great actor. He's doing a lot of his thing. And he's doing all this sweet shit, right? He's doing all the romantic things. He's doing all the things that a man is supposed to do when he wants to show a woman that she's special, that she means something to him, and that he is truly committed to her and trying to build something and go to the next level, right? That's the idea that was, portrayed to us when we talked about that. But obviously that wasn't it. Lori Harvey was just having fun. She was just doing her thing. And a lot of people say, that's none of our business, blah, 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 mind our business. That's fine. But they put their business out in the street, right? We all know this is what you do. You're an entertainer. You're a celebrity. You post shit. You want millions of followers. You got millions of followers. You're going to get millions of comments. But the thing for me